Hi, welcome to Coffee with Carrie. Here's your host, Carrie LeZotte.
Thank you. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coffee with Carrie. I am the new Director of Cable and Community Relations here in Bloomfield Township, and we're trying a few new things. One of them is this live broadcast opportunity where you can, if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn, you can type a little message into the comments and ask a question or just say hello, and I encourage you to do that. If you're watching on the broadcast, these shows are going to be regularly on Tuesdays at 10 a.m., and you can join us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. A couple of the other things we're going to try, we're building a podcast studio, and we're reconfiguring our studio a little bit. So I do want to say this is Coffee with Carrie, and I do want to say thank you to our coffee sponsor, White Pine Coffee. White Pine is a local specialty roaster in Oxford, and they are really special. They take great care in making their coffee, and it is something that I would like to do for you as well. If you want to stop by the cable studio, I'd be happy to make a cup of coffee, make a cup of pour over for you. So thank you. So today we're starting, this is kind of our test, but we are going to start with cable and community relations. And I have with me today Greg Black and Steve Rhoda, who are pretty much my, well, I was supposed to be in the middle here, but they are pretty much my right and left leg in helping me stay up and keep things going here at the station. So we are going to, well, first I was going to tell you about myself. So I'm a resident of Franklin Village. I live there with my husband and my 16-year-old daughter who goes to Groves High School. And before coming to work for the township, I ran my own production company. So I started out really in independent films, and then I got a job at Comerica Bank where I did internal video communication for there for about a decade. And I was always doing community-based work, running things kind of on the side. And then when the film incentive happened and Comerica moved to Dallas, their headquarters to Dallas, I did that full time for a while and got more into doing educational and documentary content. And then I spent some time working at Detroit Public Television. And more recently, I got to work with Mayor Mike Duggan during his 2017 reelection campaign, which kind of got me into understanding what goes on in government behind the scenes. And that was a lot of fun. When COVID hit, I did some virtual coaching, and then this amazing opportunity came up. I was actually finishing my master's at Wayne State, and I was teaching intro to film and video there, and I didn't expect anything like this to come up, but I'm so happy it did, because telling the stories of our community is really what's always been in my heart and what's super special to me. So I'm really, really happy to be here to serve Bloomfield Township and beyond, as we'll talk about in a little bit. Without further ado, I would like to introduce Greg Black and Steve Rhoda. Hi, guys.
Hey, Carrie.
Hi, good morning.
Hello. Thank you for doing this with me.
Thanks for forcing me to do this. I appreciate it.
I know it gives you a chance so that people can get to know you a little bit and see you, the people that are running things behind the scenes. So if you can tell us a little bit about, first, Greg, we'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about your history here at the station and what services, what do you support for Bloomfield Township?
Sure. So I'm a graduate of Eastern Michigan University, and shortly after graduation, I started volunteering at BCTV behind the scenes on our video productions in the studio and on location and with our cable truck. And from there, I moved on to our part-time production staff and up to senior production specialist, and now into my current role as operations manager. So kind of a jack of all trades throughout the department here. In those 12 years, done a lot of work behind the scenes in video production. Right now, I'm kind of specializing in the community relations end. So working on the Township website, upholding some of the maintenance there, the Township newsletters, both print and electronic, working on writing those stories, getting that information out to the public, as well as, our social media channels and just all things public outreach.
And it's exciting because we're growing. So tell us about the positions that we're hiring for right now that are within your
so I look forward to working with a new digital content coordinator, as well as our new grants and engagement coordinator, who will be being hired soon. If you're out there watching and you think you'd like to fill one of those roles and work alongside me, Steve, and Carrie, you can find those job postings on a number of platforms, but one of the easiest to advertise is the Township website, which is bloomfieldtwp.org. Go to the government tab and scroll down to employment opportunities, and you'll see those jobs posted.
Thanks. And we can drop links in our videos and our streams. Yeah. We'll drop those links later too. Sure. Steve, tell us what you do for us.
Hi. Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it. My name's Steve Rhoda. I've been with the Township for almost 25 years. So January of 2023 is going to be 25 years. It's hard to believe I've been here for that long. I'm a graduate from Ferris State University. I am sitting right here in the new podcast studio that we have created. And again, we'll eventually move into your office. So it's kind of cool doing the show from this room, and it's our first show as a podcast. Normally we're just in the studio or on location doing programs, but backing up a little bit, I'm married for 13 years. I have 5 children, ages from middle school all the way to just graduated college, and has a big girl job teaching middle school students. So three daughters and 2 sons. And again, their ages range from 11 all the way to 25. So, that's why I got a little bit of gray in the beard,
That's right.
So yes, I've been here since 1998 as an intern from Ferris State University. That was one of the things that they made us do to graduate. We had to do a 6-month internship. Bloomfield Township was close to my home. I'm from Roseville, Michigan, only a 25-mile drive. So I decided to stay home with the parents and then commute here as an intern. Did the 6-month program. Oh, did you want to say something?
And 25 years later, you're still here.
And I'm still here.
So
thank goodness.
Like it. Right. It is a great place to work. It is.
Yeah, I mean, it is a great place to work. Township's awesome to myself and to all the employees here and the residents.
And you manage most of our part-time crew, right? So how many part-timers do we have that support us?
We have about 14 part-time staff. And again, there's actually a few part-timers that have been here for 25 years, 15 years, 12 years. And then we have 3 new part-time employees that just started about 6 months ago. So we, everybody's dedicated. And again, it's a great place to work. And also great for learning how to get into television production and learning everything behind the scenes.
Right. So I guess for our viewers that might not know what a PEG station is, Greg, can you talk a little bit about what that is and how we're funded, I guess? Yeah.
Sure. So PEG stands for Public, Educational, and Government Television, which is the kind of programs we produce here in the Township and with our other community partners, which I think Steve will get into here in a little bit. But if you look at the bottom of the bill from your cable provider, you'll find 2 separate fees down there. One is for franchise fees, which is the fees that the cable providers return to municipalities for running in the rights of way of the Township. And you'll find PEG fees, which go to support initiatives like this, which is community programming. So public, educational, government. I'm in our control room today. So what looks kind of like glowing orbs behind me is actually multiple screens where, Steve and I can push the buttons behind the scenes when we're producing programming. And then the public end is really members of the community who want to produce their own programming. Educational does fall more into the schools' laps, which, over the years since the mid 80s when PEG really, became a big initiative, schools have taken a little bit more of the reins as, video production is, not uncommon to teenagers these days. So they do that. And then government is, has a lot to do with transparency, which is broadcasting municipal meetings, which here in the township, we broadcast just about every single municipal meeting that takes place.
Right. And so did that change during COVID a little bit? We'd started doing more, right?
Yeah. So, in March of 2020, when people could no longer safely sit in a township auditorium together, we began allowing the public to attend all Zoom meetings. And Zoom meetings where these meetings were taking place, such as things like our Planning Commission Design Review Board. And then when Supervisor Danny Walsh was elected, the initiative was put in to have all of these meetings readily available for the public. So we've been in that mode for a little over 2 years now.
Right. And we are unique in that we also support other communities, and through our contract with the Birmingham area cable board. So Steve, can you talk a little bit about what that means and what kind of work we do for that?
We do everything for them. We've signed a contract with them back in 1999. So we've been with the Birmingham area for a while, and a good working relationship. And the Birmingham area cable board represents the communities of Birmingham, the village of Bingham Farms, the village of Franklin, and the village of Beverly Hills. So just like us here in the township, the PEG, Public Education and Government, we do all of their PEG programming, which is the PEG, Public Education and Government programming. And with that, we do over 700 shows a year, and that is in studio production, the public side of it. We do probably a couple hundred meetings, and that's all the Birmingham Commission meetings, planning board meetings, council meetings in the village of Beverly Hills. In Franklin, we do all their planning board, zoning board, historic board, council, and Bingham Farms, we do their council meetings. So yeah, that puts us over like 200 shows a year.
Sports.
Right. That was the government side. And then now the education. Yeah. Now the education side, we're doing, 25 sporting events a year, and that is all Groves versus Seaholm. So it's the big rival, match that everybody wants to see. And we're not just focused on covering one sport. I mean, we're a variety of sports, from volleyball, basketball, baseball, softball, track, or we used to do track. We tried it, but that was a little difficult to cover, so we did it one time. Football is the big one, so that, obviously swim and dive, water polo, and just a wide variety of sporting events. We have great on-air talent for commentating all these types of sports, so they have to learn everything about these other sports that they probably never played or watched before. So we've been doing that for a long time. And
excellent. And everybody loves it. The community loves the sports, especially. Now I know that there's people watching, and if one of you would say hello or ask a question so that we can show everybody how that works, and pop your comment up on screen, I would love to hear from you, and I'd love to see who's watching.
Yeah, right now I'm looking, I am kind of directing this as we're going. So no comments yet. So yeah, please throw a comment out, so this way I don't have to talk for the next 20 minutes.
That's right. So
real quick, I back up just for a second. So yeah, so we have that working relationship with the Birmingham area. And then also, if anybody in the area would like to volunteer on any of these shows, they may contact us at 248-433-7790. That's on the screen. And they also, if they want to produce their own shows, kind of like this one, if they want to produce their own shows, they can contact that number at 248-433-7790. Talk to Greg or myself and set up a one-on-one workshop. And we'd be happy to have them come in, give them a tour of the studio, and kind of go over the game plan and the policies and procedures, how you can produce your own show or help out on shows.
So Greg, can you talk a little bit about the kind of producers that we've partnered with in the past, some of the longer running shows, what kind of things we've been producing, and where can people see all this stuff?
Sure. So I think our longest tenured producer is Henry Gornbein, who's a Bloomfield Township resident. He started a show called Practical Law, I believe in the mid-90s, long before my time here. Interviewing everyone in the legal community, from judges to other attorneys, specializing in the types of law that people often need quick answers and questions to, and just kind of highlighting how the legal world works. He now does a show called Gracefully Graying, which deals with matters related to seniors. I think our second most tenured producer is Cindy Keynes, who does a program called Bottom Line, which is sort of a general interest show. She has lots of 501c3 charity members on to discuss their work, lots of stuff focused on children in the community, education towards what it's like to be a teen in the world of social media is a common subject of hers as well. And then we work with a number of 501c3 nonprofit organizations that do work in our viewing communities, those 6 communities that we've referenced so far. So to find that programming, again, go to the Township website, bloomfieldtwp.org. On the homepage, you'll see a number of icons at the bottom of the screen, one which will say Watch BCTV Live, where our channel streams 24/7. And you can also find our video on demand service there, where you can watch programs anywhere in the world at any time.
We have a question. Put it up on screen.
Here it comes. This is from, I don't know if we're going to use names or not.
No, it'll go up. Go ahead.
Okay, let's see here.
Steve, not
Here
seen
it comes.
before. Hi, Liz. Thanks for your question. What is your full media scope right now, aside from television broadcast? What audio podcast projects do you feature? So great question, Liz. So this is the first time we've done a video live stream like this. And as far as video podcasts or audio podcasts, we are just getting started. So we have the equipment, and right now we're really building out the space to make it so that more people from the community can come in and produce those kind of shows, because we know that there's a need. And part of continuing to serve the community is making the assets and us more available to produce the kind of content that people are interested in watching and producing. So I'm really hoping, like, my goal is January, so that everything will kind of be in order. We'll have a system set up and have maybe some training in place in order to make that happen. So maybe you'd be interested in doing a podcast. We'd love to have you. Thank you for the question. And
again, I know I said they want to just volunteer or do programs, but if they want to do a podcast, they can call us as well, 248-433-7790.
Right. So I guess right now we've moved recently to YouTube as far as because YouTube is more searchable than Vimeo. We still are kind of doing both right now. So we're on Vimeo and YouTube. We have pages for the township on Facebook, and then the police department and the fire department, they have their own pages, as well as the senior center. So upcoming shows we have scheduled so far. There's Christine from the senior center. She'll be doing our first regular show on next Tuesday at 10 o'clock. And then after that, we have Olivia from engineering, and she'll talk about, she's really like how things are kept running, and there's special projects that are going on right now that I'm sure you'll have questions about. And Safety Pass, that's one of her things as well. And then we'll hear from our clerk, I think early November before the election. So our clerk, Martin Brook. So so that's what we have. Like I said, this is kind of a trial. We're just getting going and getting things started here. But if you have any ideas on who you'd like to hear from, or guests or ideas for shows, please get in touch. We have an email address. We have our email address. There it is, cable_department@bloomfieldtownship.org, twp.org. And you can always give us a call, and we'd be happy to talk to you. And I'd also, of course, love to have you in and make you a cup of coffee. So I think that we have anything else we want to share today?
Can I ask you a question, Carrie? Put you on the spot a little bit. I know we're talking, more about the cable side of it. I want to get more in depth in the public relations side and your phases, as being the new boss here in our department, like what your outcome is and what you're looking forward to seeing this department do.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that, using video to communicate more about to use video to support community relations, I think that's really where we're going to go. And that's because it's partially my background, but also because video is a language that everybody has become fluent in now. And so using that, we have this amazing asset as the cable station and the producers that we work with, you guys, and then other people that come in. So really telling the stories as far as what's already going on in the township, and having us send out producers to tell these short stories, instead of just relying on our community producers to produce content. And then also, I'm ready to get out there and just start meeting people and developing other partnerships and relationships, so that there's so many assets in Bloomfield Township and this part of Michigan that we really want to highlight different groups and organizations, the great work that they're doing. a lot of nonprofits can't afford, or, it's hard for them to do videos themselves. So continuing to support their work and tell their stories in a way that is a little bit different than a half-hour broadcast or a talk show, but actually getting out and seeing their place and doing some more interviews and things like that. And I think that, the role of community relations and PR, that's kind of a new role to me that I'm looking to grow into, as far as there's a lot to do with emergency preparedness and being ready for a crisis, like what happened at the Oakland Hills when that fire happened. And, it was all hands on deck for that. And I think that there wasn't really a head like PR person to answer questions. And it really, the supervisor, Danny Walsh, had to answer all those questions. So I'll be that person eventually. I'm still growing into the role. But
well, it's only been about 3 months, and I think you're doing a great job. So
oh,
keep it up.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Steve. And you and Greg certainly have made it so much easier. So I do really appreciate the help from both of you and all of the institutional knowledge you share with me from day to day. I learn something new every day. So eventually, I don't know, I learn something new and make mistakes. So.
And we have another question. You want me to put it up on the screen? Here it comes.
Hi, Christine. Thanks for your question. So what other media is used to connect with residents? So we try and create one story and then distribute it in as many different ways as we can. So, for example, if people are getting the printed, they get quarterly a newsletter delivered to their homes, and then we'll take that story and it will an individual story will live on the website, and then we'll share it on Facebook and get it on social platforms as well. So obviously
we have the e-news that goes out weekly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the e-news, right? And what else do we have?
I was going to say, for residents who might be familiar with our old Township news section of the website, that's recently been redesigned as well. So if you go to the homepage, you'll see a carousel of scrolling stories that'll link you to the Township website. And it kind of is categorized now where you can find news stories that relate specifically to assessing or public safety or cable and community relations, things like that. So
and we're in the
effort to stretch everything out across as many platforms as possible.
And we're in the process of developing an app, because we do understand that there is a need for that, and that most people are getting their content on their phones. And so the app will have kind of a central place. It'll be similar to the website, but I think it'll be a little bit easier for people to use. And then, if they see a problem in the township and they want to take a picture of it, then they can take the picture and send it through the app to the specific department, and then all of our videos will be there and easily accessible. And we'll also be able to do push notifications. So if there's road closures or things that are happening with the snow and we need to let people know, the boil water advisory, that was another, something that happens, like when it happens and when it doesn't happen, that we need to let people know of right away. So the app will be able to have us connect with township residents. So we're doing that as well. And then obviously, face-to-face communication is still my favorite.
Come in and have some coffee with Carrie.
That's right. I invite you to do that. So
I think I might go into podcasting. This is actually fun. Having fun. And I was nervous at first, but this is fun.
Well, and it's not like super high pressure, because not that many people are watching our live broadcast right now. It's not
I see millions. They heard my name was brought up, so I think a million viewers now. Yes. I don't want to disappoint.
Right. Well, this is a chance for people to get to know us better. And if they do want something recorded, and there's a special event going on, they can get in touch and let us know. And if we have time, that's what we're here for, is to do community programming. And so we'd love to hear from you and love to get to know you a little bit better. So I do invite you in to our cable station. Come by and say hello to us, or make an appointment. That's fine too. But if you're just in the area, I'd be happy to make you a cup of coffee. I think coffee is one of those things that, and what I like about White Pine is that they really kind of elevates the experience. So it's just this one little moment out of your day that you can make a little bit extra special. And so that's what I try and do. So thanks.
Sorry to interrupt, but just to let you know though too, I know they can come in anytime, but just to let residents know, our office hours to come in is 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Mhm.
Or I'm sorry, Monday through Thursday.
My-
But we do, even though we're not here in the office after hours, we are working basically 24/7 to get residents the information. And
That's
we
right.
have, and if somebody can't meet with us Monday through Thursday and they need to come in on a Friday, let us know and we can maybe accommodate to meet you on a Friday. So,
Well, it's production
that in mind.
life. So production things happen all the time. So we are here to cover it. So
Exactly.
yeah.
And then I would like to also thank our resident producers, over the 25 years that I've been here. Because of them is why we have all the programs that we do. They come here with ideas and, and they're like, hey, I have this great idea, but I don't have the technical background. And then we provide the technical aspect. They give us the guests and their hosts, and we put the shows together, and we've done a lot of shows over the 25 years I've been here.
Mhm.
And so I just want to thank all the resident producers that have done shows here over the years.
All right. Well, I think we don't have to. We are not required to stretch it.
No,
to
I have
30.
some laugh tracks and all that stuff I didn't get to play with yet.
Well, you
I'll save
might.
that.
You want to show your. You want to show your. Show off some of your.
No, we'll save it
No.
for another show when it's appropriate,
No.
I guess, right?
Okay. All right. Well, we'll be back next Tuesday at 10 o'clock. I'll be back to host Christine from our senior center to talk more about the services that are provided there. And I hope you join us.
All right, thanks for watching, and thanks to White Pine again. So have a good day, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye. Did we show the photos or did we forget? We could go back and do it now. We're still live.